you've never been out here to this museum, you got to put it on your radar. You got to get out here because this is where you're going to be learning quite a bit of history of aviation, which is kind of neat. Alan, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, Brad.
So this is
nice
Alan
to meet
Urban.
you.
He is the museum director. Alan, how long has the museum been here?
So the operation here started in 1978 when they first acquired our B-17 and rebuilt her so she could fly. 10 years later, they built a hangar, and then they did the restoration on our B-25. She's called Made in the Shade because she was built inside the first hangar.
Wow.
In 2000, they built the museum hangar that we're standing in today.
I like this. And what I love is that this takes us through aviation, starting with, of course, one of the fighter planes right here that was used during, what war was this one?
This was World War I. And we actually started our tours telling them what basic aerodynamics are of these wing structures so they know how this came about.
Yeah.
And we have a demonstration over here that's actually built by an Eagle Scout.
That's neat. And that's what's great about this museum. A lot of volunteers keep this place going, don't they?
That is correct. We were all volunteers.
So, and I like over here that you teamed up with ASU's aviation department to build this little history lesson here, right?
Yes, Brad. So we have an ongoing internship program with ASU. We're in about our 5th year now. The Forgiani story here was the story that they developed over 2 semesters of work.
Yeah. Man, when you come through here, it's just so incredible to see all the different planes and helicopters, too, which are incredible that you have out here.
So basically the museum is laid out chronologically. So we start with the very beginning of aviation, the First World War, and then we roll in around to World War II and on.
Yeah.
All the way outside the outside, we cover Korea, Vietnam, and then the War on Terror.
Yeah. Let's talk about, of course, Pearl Harbor, because I think that's one that we learned quite a bit about because it really affected our history of aviation, our history of military. We see a lot of movies about it, and you have this memorabilia here, which is so incredible and so important to the history of this museum.
Well, yes, it is central to the story because the air base operation here, before we were here, back in '41, was established as a British training school. We weren't in the war yet, and that was part of the Lend-Lease operation. We provided facilities for them to train their pilots, and this was one of those places, and that's how it got the name Falcon Field.
Wow. Because
that was the national bird of England. What you're looking at here is what we call our sacred steel. And right behind you, you can see the event of the sinking of the Arizona at Pearl Harbor. We were fortunate enough to obtain this from the Navy, and they shipped it all the way from Hawaii for us to display here.
Yeah, there it is right there. A lot of history here in this museum. And we were talking about our World War II men and women. And we don't have many around, but you've had some come through here, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. We've had quite a few come through here. As a matter of fact, just a couple weeks ago, we interviewed a Mr. Mashad, who was actually a veteran of World War II. He served during Korea, and he served in Vietnam, and he is still going.
Wow. How many planes are in here, do you think?
It's over a dozen.
Wow, that's amazing. But I know there's one that you are definitely loving to have here in the museum, and that is what?
Well, the #1 plane that we have here, from my perspective, is one that we still fly, the C-47. C-47 was a cargo plane, delivered paratroopers, towed gliders, like at D-Day invasion, but our particular C-47 was part of a rescue operation in Yugoslavia in World War II where they rescued 500 American airmen from behind enemy lines.
Wow.
And that plane is still flying. Wow. You can actually get a ride in that very plane.
That's amazing. Okay, wish list plane. What's on the wish list here?
Wish list here, an F-86.
F-86. All right. So anybody has a F-86 laying around the house, right? Just a little model you want, or no?
No, I need the full-size real thing.
The full-size real thing. So one thing that's also a staple here, and that is the bomber. And as we look here at this beautiful picture here, we're going to be going into one. But tell me a little bit about this bomber right here, because it's a very important one, isn't it?
So this is the 5,000th B-17 that was built during the war. And what you see on the front there are the signatures of all the people that helped put her together. And the people lined up underneath are the ones that worked on her. And they literally pushed her out. Normally they'd pull them out with a tug. They did not do that. They let all the manpower and the women, you'll notice the women over here to the side and scattered throughout, they were a vital part of building the airplanes.
Yeah, And so this plane actually, you're telling me, went into combat, went into war with
Yes.
those signatures on there.
Absolutely. It went, as you see her right here, is how she arrived in Europe.
Wow, this is amazing. So it is definitely the CAF out here in Mesa. What are the hours of operation?
So in the winter, starting now, we are open from 10 to 4, Wednesday through Saturday.
There you go. You got to make plans to come out here.